chandelier, I'm using this white sparkly lampshade. It's 14 inches in diameter. I'm also using 2 sets of this crystal garland I got at Costco. It lights up, it has a couple of plugins. I'll show you how we deal with those later on. You can use any sort of LED Christmas lights that you want. And also I'm using these metallic twist ties and an upholsterer's needle. Or you can use anything that you need to be able to poke holes into your lampshade. So right now my lampshade is flipped upside down and I'm poking holes every 2 to 3 inches all the way around the perimeter of my lampshade. And now take your twist ties and feed them through each of the holes. I'm starting with this end of the garland with the 2 prongs. Just drop that plug-in out of the way, just drop it into the center of your lampshade and don't worry about that right now. We're just going to focus on attaching our garland with the twist ties. So just go all the way around and attach your garland to the very top rim of your lampshade. After you finish the first row, just continue wrapping your garland or your lights all the way around your lampshade until you're happy with it. And just use your twist ties wherever you need them to attach the next kind of row of lights or garland. So sometimes you might need to connect a couple twist ties together to get them to reach the next level. And then just keep wrapping until you're completely happy with how it looks. And right now I'm attaching another set of the lights. So I'm just going to plug those into each other and kind of hide that cord back there and continue wrapping with my twist ties. To remove the old light plate. So I'm taking that down and I'm removing one of the light bulbs. And then there's this nifty little light socket that has 2 electrical outlets on it. You can pick these up at any hardware store. So I'm screwing that in and I'm replacing the light bulb. Where my old light plate was screwed on, I'm attaching a coupling and then a 6-inch extender. You can find these items in the lighting department in the hardware store. I'm also attaching another coupling to the bottom of that extender. The chandelier will press against that bottom coupling and then attach the finial, and this is what the setup looks like. I also ended up adding an extra hex nut just below that coupling, so it's just above the chandelier and below the coupling just to add a little more stability. And then plug in your lights and this is the result. And since your LED lights are attached to the same electrical source as your light bulbs, when you flip the switch when you walk in the room, all of the lights turn on at the same time just as they normally would. We're going to be breaking things in this project, so make sure you put some safety glasses on first. This was an old cheap mirror that I got at Lowe's for about $6. I'm breaking this up, but if you're uncomfortable with the idea of breaking a mirror yourself, you can always go to a glass shop and ask if they have any broken mirror that you can just have. So I have this piece of really thin masonite that I got at the Restore, Habitat for Humanity's The Restore for $1, and Michael just attached some 1x1s to the back to create some stability and kind of a frame around the back of it. And then on the front, I'm just placing my broken pieces of mirror, kind of just deciding what design I want. I wanted kind of an explosion, sort of a sun. I'm using this mirror mastic. It's Loctite. It's mirror adhesive. It's safe to use on the back of mirrors. It won't cause them to blacken or discolor on the back. This white sanded grout. I like the texture that this gives, and the color is really nice of it too. It's a nice shade of white. So we're using about 1 quart of water for about half a bag of grout. It takes a lot more grout than we actually expected, so half a bag was perfect for this project. And when you're stirring it up, you want kind of a cake batter, sort of frosting sort of texture. The grout itself is really easy to use, it's easy to mix, it's just a little messy, so you might want to put down a tarp or some plastic before you get started. And then we're just grabbing handfuls of the grout and kind of just spreading it on with sponges. These are just regular kitchen sponges because I didn't have the proper tools, but you have all kinds of like nifty little tools in the hardware stores you can use for grouting and doing mosaics. You can use a grouting sponge. Michael has that big yellow sponge there. That is a grouting sponge, so you can get it wet and kind of smooth it over your surface. And now it is drying, so the mirror is fairly clean. We wiped it as clean as we could to get that haze off, and then he's painting the edge. So we're using this bare sea salt paint. It was the perfect shade of white to kind of match the actual color of the grout. And then we attach the picture hanging hardware to the back of the frame. Now we're going to be making the easiest no-sew faux sheepskin pelts ever. Is that like the longest title ever? Okay. I'm just cutting down my fabric to the size that I want. I'm using about a 3-foot by 2-foot piece. This is just going to be small throws that I want to use on the back of my ghost chairs, or on the side, or on the arms of them. But make whatever size that you want. I'm using this Mongolian faux fur, in case you're curious. Just plain white Mongolian faux fur. And I'm just using a pencil to trace out some kind of like shapely curves to it so I can trim it up and make it look kind of like where the legs used to be, or you know, the underbelly fluff, or whatever you want to call it. We just want some shapely look to the edges. And just cut out the shape you drew. And a quick tip is, since we're doing a no-sew, you want to find a fabric that is not going to continuously fray or shed on the edges. You want it to have a nice backing. So this has a good back, so I don't have to worry about hemming it or adding any fabric to the back of it. And then just kind of pull away any of that extra fur that's along the edges, fluff it up, throw it on your chair, and you're all done. Making sweater pillows. So start with a couple of old sweaters. I'm actually using this one that I already used when I made my sweater candles, so that's why it's missing its arms already. So I'm just cutting off the bottom half of it, just below the arms. I'm going to save that little piece for some other project, and then this bottom piece that I'm going to be using for the pillows, I'm cutting that in half because the front and the back are the same design, so I want to make a set of 2 matching pillows. Now I'm taking one of the pieces of sweater and laying it over the pillow that I want to use. I'm just kind of making sure that it's going to fit. I'm going to have to really stretch it out to get it to fit, so these are going to be some very plump pillows. Now I'm taking that piece of sweater and I'm laying it over this flannel that I'm going to be using for the back, and I'm just cutting that out. I'm going to cut it out the same dimensions except 5 inches longer in one direction. And I fold that piece of fabric in half and cut that down the middle. So now I'm going to have 2 pieces that are going to make the envelope on the back of my pillow. And then those 2 edges that are going to overlap over each other, fold those over and hem them. Just about a 1/2 inch is good. And so you just want to do a regular straight stitch and just beginning and ending with a back stitch. To pin our pieces into place. So I'm laying down the sweater with the pretty side facing up, and then the 2 backs that are going to envelope over each other. So those are facing down. So pretty sides are facing inward towards each other, and then pin everything into place. And so with a regular straight stitch all around the perimeter, about a 1/2 inch seam allowance is good. When you come to a corner, you can just leave your needle down, lift your presser foot, turn your fabric, drop your presser foot, and continue sewing. And then don't forget to finish off with a back stitch to lock the thread into place. To make those corners less bulky, you can just trim off the corners just outside the seam, and then trim off any extra sweater bits there might be. Turn your pillow cover right side out, insert your pillow, and you now have a super plush and cozy sweater pillow. also had a couple of items that I wanted to turn into pillow covers, like this old tank top, and then I had an old sequin skirt. And I used the same technique as on the sweater pillows, just cut out the piece of the fabric that you want to use from the item, and then fit that over a pillow that will fit it, cut out the back envelope style exactly as we did the sweater pillows, and it's basically the exact same techniques as we already did. So I didn't want to go through the whole thing with you, I just wanted to show you another idea that you can do if you want to. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I shall see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.